Welcome one and all. This is WESN Content Capital. It's Thursday, and on a Thursday, for now, we have with us the man Sean Michael Small to talk NFL. We look back at what would have transpired in the week gone and maybe look ahead a little bit, if we have time, to what's going to happen this weekend. The NFL big all over the world, because we will see that the NFL was not only played in the USA, but they went to Brazil, the home of football, the football that we all know that they play. It's called soccer, of course, in America. Well, it went to Brazil, and it was a sellout. The crowd were in uproar. They were wearing all of the different colors of teams. I was hearing on the BBC of teams that were not playing, but they all came on in all their colors, and nothing wrong with that for the NFL. But let's start. Sean Michael Small is with me. Sean, before we go into details, let me tell Sean Michael Small earlier, congratulations. His team won, my team lost. So I'm taking it, really giving it right up. He's a happy man. His team won, my team lost. But of course, the race is never for the swiftest. It's always for those who can last a long time. And we're not sure if Sean Michael can do that as yet.
I swear, he cares more about this than me, because one of the first things I said was, and we'll get into it, and I've said this for 3 years now, I think.
Yes.
The first couple of weeks is very difficult to extrapolate who's good or who's bad, because teams could start off hot and then they kind of fizzle because they peak maybe at the wrong time.
So the winning this week doesn't mean much to you, you're saying. Are you saying that?
It will mean more if they get a few wins.
No.
Yeah, one win this week doesn't mean that much.
So how were you behaving so much strong before? You were calling me all kind of names, this hole, that hole, all kind of different names you were calling before.
No, I was saying if the position was reversed.
No, you can't say that for sure.
If the position was reversed. Yes, I can, because every time the position is reversed, that's exactly how you get on.
The evidence doesn't suggest that. The evidence suggests the evidence does not suggest that.
The man will fearlessly rub it in my face. Rub it in my face. I didn't rub it in your face.
No, you did.
I did not rub it.
The man was grievously arrogant. And there's evidence. He was calling me this hole, that hole, all kind of hole. Did you not say that?
You're taking me out of context. Yeah, right? I said if the position was reversed, then you would be acting like a so-and-so, right? Right?
Anyway, Sean, let's start really, as I welcome you here, with a game. We're going to get into it, obviously, the first game of the season. Here we have Kansas City Chiefs against the Baltimore Ravens. A game that proved, last year at least, that the Ravens could not deliver when they were expected to.
Yes, and the thing is, last year, just to set it up,
yes,
it wasn't as though my complaint was I was disappointed in their play. It didn't seem like they were playing up to their standard, up to the standard of their coach, up to the tradition of their team, and up to the talent of maybe their defense, their running backs, and their quarterback. So one of the things is, okay, what are we going to see now? Because a lot of the good coaches will admit, no matter how much of the same players you have, at the end of the day, you're going to have changes. The league and the style of play, everybody is going to look at last year, and they're going to try to pull things out to the woodwork and figure out what the meta of the league is. That is to say, what are the trends? What are the types of strategies and the types of defense and offense that seems to be the most effective currently in the current environment? That is to say, last year's environment. So now week one, everybody's kind of starting off. We don't know who's going to make what adjustments, and then some of the adjustments are based on your personnel, because it's hard to hold on to all your great players. Every team had some kind of turnover. So in the case now of Baltimore and KC, while a lot of the key players may have been similar, not all of them are. So there's a lot of unknowns, because they haven't even seen either side play other teams yet either. The problem is, and I guess this is unfortunate timing for the Ravens, they have reached the point where in sports, there will be a stretch where it just seems like this team can't get over the hump of beating that team.
Yeah,
and this was the time.
It's like a boogie team.
Yeah, and this was the time when, you know, the narrative is now, if Lamar Jackson really wants to ascend to the next level, he has to, I don't even think he necessarily has to turn the tables on Patrick Mahomes, but he has to show something. So this was an important game, but it's unfortunate that it's so early because, like I was saying, the results early is difficult to take 100% seriously because not all teams, some of them, they still haven't shaken off all the rust. They still haven't cemented what their style is going to be this year. Organizations like the Ravens are supposed to have styles that they hold firm to year after year.
All right.
So we'll see if they
All
did
right.
that.
So let's have a look. We start as usual. Let's have a look.
Coming. Lamar gets out of the way. Flips it to Justice Hill. Had to get to the first down line at the 40, and he did. No flag is thrown. Jackson from the pocket. For Flowers, he's got it at the 33-yard line of Kansas City. And a first down. Third the yard. And Jackson pulls it, keeps it, gets a block downfield, and Lamar Jackson takes it into the red zone. About a dozen pounds, down to 205. Henry out of the backfield. And Jackson running with guards pulling. And Lamar taking off, propelling himself to the 5-yard line. Second and 2. Henry running right to the goal line and in. Let's see. Yes, he is in for the touchdown. On his first drive, King Henry.
The snap, and as you turn around, I want you to think about what the Chiefs saw there.
He's on one side, Suamata is on the other side. That is the rookie. A lot of attention on the starting left tackle. Slant right away, complete to Rashee Rice. Moved Rice, comes underneath, and there he goes. Rashee Rice into the secondary to the 36-yard line. Gain of 16 to Kansas City, first down. That gets you the 15. It wasn't inside the opening. This is the speedy man, Xavier Worthy, the fastest man to the end zone right away. His first touch, a Kansas City touchdown. Oh, man.
We needed our auto racing guys here to call this one. Watch him take this turn, 4.21 seconds. No more worries about whether or not Kansas City has any speed. Beep, beep, here he comes. Golly.
From the 30, Jackson floats it out. Likely the tight end's got it across the 45, gain of 50. It needs 6, pressure comes, it's Hill out of the backfield. Beautiful open field tackle by Justin Reed, the safety. Stops him after a gain of 2. Sitting in a suite right below us. First down from Mahomes. Scans, dumps it out to Pacheco. In the open field, Isaiah Pacheco. Big gain of 23.
Mahomes knows how to work.
33, Mahomes in the middle. Rice on the run again. Rashee Rice, 19 more yards.
Category.
Now Nambi, Matabike. Samaje Perine is in. Chiefs just picked him up. The pressure's on Mahomes, and he is stopped. Bacon in trouble. Ball is out. Jackson nearly fell on it. It's still loose at the bottom of that pile. The pressure came from Chris Jones, and Kansas City has recovered. Mahomes firing and zone is caught and then dropped. Juju Smith-Schuster, who is back with this Chiefs team, and Marcus Williams came up. Butker missed 2 field goals all of last year from 32. Knox went through to give.
Lord! Thank you for bringing me back. That's all right.
Andre was regaling me one of his peers, right, in the wider world that he knows is a Patriots fan. So
When the man tell me that Patriots fan, I just like my head sinking.
So what happened was, you're not really sour with me. Because I didn't, listen, I could have messaged Andre, right, that on Sunday. You see? I got it, right? But I didn't. I left it alone.
You know what? I couldn't understand. When he tell me he was a Patriots fan, I thought, I want to say something here. Normally in English football, and Rodney and Keaton, maybe I may attest to this, that, you know, people who are supporting a team, when teams have to do badly, sometimes they leave.
Right.
That's how you know a true fan.
That
he actually stayed, just like you with the Patriots. He actually stayed.
You know, it's as much as I try to root for Brady with Tampa and root for the Bengals, it's like it's not real. It's not the same. It's just not, right?
The difference between you and Rodney and Keaton is Rodney and Keaton have stayed with this team since 2012, but they win nothing. So I don't understand why.
So okay, so we just had a game.
Yeah.
and I was telling you, Xavier Worthy, rookie.
Tell us about him, because that was tremendous speed.
Fastest combined 40-yard dash ever recorded, as far as I'm aware.
Wow.
4.2 seconds, 40-yard dash. Normally in the NFL players are not going to be fast like track stars, right? Every now and then you have someone who did track who's also an NFL player, right?
After Boland, actually, over 2.5 years ago in Miami, he was actually training some of the NFL stars on speed.
For the combine, right?
For the combine, yeah.
So what is fast normally would be anywhere around 4.3. 4.3 is fast, right? 4.4 is average. 4.5 is like, well, okay, you're not fast, but we could work with you, right? 4.2 is elite speed. Chris Johnson, who was back like in 2010, 2009, he was a 4.2 running back, and you could tell the difference between when he ran and when other running backs who normally would be like 4.4, 4.5, 4.6 were running, right? Now, receivers tend to all be preferably in the upper end of the range, but still, this is rare speed.
But I think it was not only the speed. I think even Josh and Ryan commented it was the way he found the gap.
So I think this was incredible, not just play design by Andy Reid, but also play calling, because a play like that, it's an end around. So
it's a what?
I believe it's an end around, right?
Explain that to the people.
So the wide receiver, or maybe it's a reverse. Apologies, but the point is the wide receiver is coming from his position.
Yes.
At this point, it was the top of the screen,
yes.
And he's coming around the back of his formation,
so
right? And the problem with that is, if the defense gets penetration and they tackle you, it's a big loss.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And you're spending a lot of time for this play to develop, because you have to run most of the width of the field to get the ball to then turn. So you have to know when to call a play like that.
It's almost as if you're running backwards and then to come forward.
In order to come forward.
Right.
So you have to know when to run a play like that. It's a very aggressive play call, because high risk, high reward. Because as you saw, when it works, you catch the defense off guard, and then...
But you know, that is a Mahone special. Mahone is a man who's go back to come forward a lot. Himself. We've seen him do that. He is carrier back and he can still come forward.
But here's the thing with the Chiefs that I think last year they were underestimated for what they managed to achieve. Or rather, they actually were a little bit lucky with regards to the trend of the NFL defenses last year.
Right.
Because since last year, the trend was we're going to cover deep. You're going to have to dink and dunk to get through. And ironically, what was the Chiefs' weakness? Long balls, they were dropping the balls. But you had Kelsey, right? And then eventually Rashee Rice kind of developed. And he was actually the main receiving star of this game, right? But we'll get to that later. And I think, ironically, where it's not as though it was perfect for the Chiefs' offense, but where their strength was last year lined up where the defenses were basically, that's the compromise that they made. We'll give up the short to protect the long, and we are going to depend on using our own speed, because now the style of play from college, the teams are littered with players who they've played college, right? When the college style first came into the NFL, there were a lot of veterans who weren't necessarily used to all of these new, oversimplified but yet fancy ways of doing things. But now, all of these running quarterbacks and all of these dynamic run-pass options, these things are normal for the bulk of the players in the league. The turnover has been enough. And I think they've caught up. So now, when the Chiefs could say, well, we have Kelsey, we could do things old school. We have a quarterback that's not saddled down with limitations on what he could process. We could have a pro-style offense, and we could go to the extremes of stressing the defense and doing things that most other teams won't do. And at least we have our strength in the areas that they are conceding. And it worked. And I guess that's basically the answer. It's not that the Chiefs might not have been in as much trouble as we thought. So coming now into this season, I don't think defensive schemes have changed that much, because it worked for most of the league, right? But now, with this game, and watching it up to halftime, well, up to this, well, yes, up to halftime.
Yeah, okay.
I'll just go to the halftime,
Sure,
right?
it's okay, yeah.
It seemed as though things were a bit even. The Ravens got to the early lead, but I guess
Did you in your mind, before we go to the next part,
Here's the
ever think
problem.
of something that it was going to be different?
Here's the problem. The Ravens they got Derrick Henry at running back.
Right.
They did not run him enough. That's it.
He actually scored the first touchdown.
Right? That's fine, but they did not run him enough. And the fact that they did not, all throughout the game, right? The longer the game went on, and the more and more it felt as though things were just getting a little bit tighter for the Ravens.
Yeah.
It's the more and more I was thinking, but you have Derrick Henry. You
So there
have
were
Derrick
opportunities
Henry,
in your opinion.
right? And at the very least, and I'll get into the final stats later,
Yes.
but I just felt they were not running him enough. And they were putting too much on Lamar Jackson. And of course, I don't necessarily know whose training camp went well and who has the rust. But if there's one guy who I am not going to expect to be rusty, it's going to be Patrick Mahomes. Because he has proven it on a level he's already on the Mount Rushmore. Right? And no one's going to dispute it because he has the hardware, he has the records, he passes the eye test, he passes the intangible test. When you hear what they say about him behind the scenes and his work ethic and his willingness to put in the work and do all the little things. So the Ravens are coming in now. You get Derrick Henry, the biggest of biggest running backs, right? There's no one else at his size, at least not in the current NFL. And I would have thought at the very least, hey, we're making moves to beat the Chiefs. We get this guy. This is not a small acquisition, right? This is not like getting Birdman for the Miami Heat, right? Way back when LeBron and the Big Three were there. You know, this is not just someone to add on to Steph Curry to play off the bench. And they weren't running the ball enough, I found, and I'm like, what is the point then? And I'll say this, their offense looked to me more unbalanced between run and pass.
Okay.
When I was watching the game, maybe than it actually was, but that was the perception I got. And I started to get shades of, it was kind of funny how, as I'm remembering all of the things that I thought about last year, I'm like, this is feeling too familiar to me.
Do you feel, before we go to that particular part, in fact, no, let's go to it, because it's a question I want to bring at the end. All right, let's go.
This one up for KC. It's Mahomes under pressure, stepped up, deflected, and Mahomes caught it. And it's just going to be a gain of a yard. Chris Jones rushing from the edge. 87 yards for the Ravens. Jackson's first pass. Sideline Isaiah Likely. Derrick Henry on the sideline. Justice Hill more the third down back and passing game stuff for the Ravens. He releases. Jackson steps up. Chased by Chanel, got away, spinning around the 30-yard line. First down for Lamar. Jones, this whole drive, living as an edge rusher here. And Chanel comes as well. They'll throw it that way behind them. And likely another catch and getting out of bounds. Show blitz, they bring four. Jackson throws on the run to Bateman, he brought it in. Inbounds clock runs at the 11-yard line. Final half minute. Down to 19 seconds remaining. He'll take a shot. It is Jackson taking a lot of time. Throws it to the back to Likely. Incomplete. Jackson sliding up, throwing in zone. Incomplete. Flowers was wide open. He's rushed four. Lamar trying to make magic happen, throw it in zone, Likely, 2 feet down, yes, touchdown, what a play, Isaiah Likely, going for two and the win.
Let's make sure. Oh, very close. Is there enough to overturn?
Oh, that's on the line, isn't it? I think.
Terry McCauley's going to have to make this call, but it looks like that toe's on the line, Terry.
I agree completely. The right toe's on the line. It's out of bounds. This is going to be reversed to an incomplete pass.
Oh, my goodness.
That's a toe. By a toe, the opener looks like it'll go to the Chiefs, because this will be game over. Showing the replay up on the big screen now that you're watching here at home. Unbelievable look down the line there. Gives you that definitive look you're looking for.
The runner's toe hit out of bounds. It's an incomplete pass. The game is over. Kansas City has won.
27-20. The Chiefs win on opening night by a toe.
Lost by a toe.
Basically, I actually, because the initial, when you watch it live, you can notice that details of the third angle to really see that he was out, right? Of course, once they see that the toes are right by the line, the network is going to look into it, and all scoring plays are automatically reviewed now. They weren't necessarily like that before, so a coach could have tried to get the extra point play, you know, get it done quickly, and once you snap the ball, then no one could challenge it. But since it's an automatic review, you're not going to get away with that. And I mean, as much as it seems like such a minor thing, that's the rules. You have to have a cutoff point somewhere. It's very unfortunate because Isaiah Likely, he got 9 catches for 111 yards. He was their passing game. Zay Flowers didn't have much of a night. 6 passes, but only 37 yards. And a couple other guys got some yards in the air as well. But for the Ravens, what disappointed me was Derrick Henry, your 6'5", 247-pound running back, free agent that you just signed. Yes, he's 30, but that just means that you have a 2 to 3 years before he turns 33, 34, and then maybe the wheels fall off, right? Although I would argue, I don't know if he's had that much wear and tear on his legs. He had 13 carries for 46 yards. Lamar Jackson, your 6'2", 200-pound quarterback, who a little injury to his wrist, and he's more or less useless to you. He had 122 yards rushing, right? Which means that I don't know if all of it was Lamar Jackson just taking the ball into his own hands, or if the game plan was to say, pass if you see something open, run if you don't, right? But if it was the latter, I'm thinking, hold on. It's not that the quarterbacks are more fragile, but they need their legs, their wrist, their arm, their shoulder. They need a lot of things to be right to accurately throw the ball. A finger broken is a problem, right? A running back could run without a finger, could run without a toe, could run with a shoulder injury, right? And Derrick Henry has 50 pounds on Lamar Jackson. He is the guy that should be carrying a lot of that load to batter down the defense. And then on top of that, when you're facing a high-powered offense, I don't know if maybe their play calling, they're trying to be too cute, or maybe they're not entirely sure how to use Derrick Henry, right? Because the thing is, his style is physical, and it's hard to replicate that in training camp, especially when you're limited with the amount of tackling and padded practices you could have. That's one of the reasons why the opening weeks, the quality is kind of, there's the lament that the quality is not good, because the practices are not as physical and they don't have enough of it as they would have had in the past. So it could be an integration thing, because it's also to integrate him with Lamar. But my thing is, look, you have him. He should take some of that load. He scored, right? Early. So why is it he's successful early? Why are you moving away from him? Because the game was not, if you were 3 scores down, that's different. But you were never 3 scores down. And one of the best ways to deal with a high-powered quarterback is to keep him off the field.
All right.
And a running game does that. But I don't know if maybe with Lamar Jackson, it's too cute.
My question to you before we go to the news is, do you feel that it was personal?
For who?
For Lamar Jackson, who he wanted to dominate?
Yeah, so basically, at some point, somebody in Lamar's position will identify it's all meaningless if I can't beat KC. Because the problem is, it has been proven. With 1 year as an exception, who is going to beat KC for me? Because at the end of the day, with the playoffs, we'll meet at some point. It was the same thing for Manning. Manning basically had to ask himself, tell himself, no one's going to beat New England for me. So in 2006, you know what? He said, I had enough. Brady, I'm sorry, they got rid of your receivers from the 2 years ago. I have my window, I'm not giving it up. And the Patriots almost beat them with a second-rate and third-tier set of receivers, right? But in any Manning's like, I have to beat New England. So that's, at some point, the organization is going to gear themselves, and it's going to feel personal. Because ever since then, Baltimore, New England, Patriots, Colts, it's personal. Deflate gates, like all of these things are carryovers from the rivalry that kind of grew. Sometimes it's healthy and competitive, like Manning Brady. Sometimes it's not. But, I mean, even the Ravens were looking at the other teams in the AFC, the Steelers, the Colts, and the Patriots, and saying, we have to be able to match up to these guys because we're not going anywhere without them. And since we're talking three-peat for the Chiefs, the Ravens want something to put in the trophy case. They have to go through KC. There's no ifs about it anymore. It is guaranteed. The only thing that's going to save them from having to climb this mountain is if Patrick Mahomes gets hurt. Because even if Kelsey gets hurt, there's no guarantee that you're going to figure it out.
All right, so today you have it. We've got maybe because of time, we just wrap up here because take the news very shortly because we have some 4 more matches to go and I don't want to start talking the matches and we get broken by the news. So the first game, the defending champions, the Kansas City Chiefs, would you say as we head to the news that you were pleased by their early success or the game was a little bit too close?
No, I actually was pleased. Again, they also have to deal with the lack of padded practices. But Rashee Rice stepped up. Xavier Worthy as a rookie, he had a big play. There's a lot of hope for him. Only 2 receptions though, but still. And they have Noah Gray, Pacheco, got a few catches here and there. Didn't necessarily see the drops that we saw last year. Some of those guys are out. They weren't on the field, right? So we'll see how it goes. But I think for the most part, the passing offense, 291 yards for week 1. Against a Raven teams that played you close. It's not like you necessarily had an advantage on time of possession.
And the acquisition of Worthy, any other acquisition you feel will make an impact besides him this season for the Kansas City Chiefs? I know you mentioned Worthy and his speed, but is there any other newbie?
Actually, the Chiefs were behind on time of possession. The Ravens actually, they're running, well, the quarterback running was able to. I'm not too sure how many, because of how stacked this team was, I'm not too sure how many rookies will push through. Ideally, you wouldn't even necessarily want to have to rely on Worthy too much, but they identified that, look, as much as our passing game was able to deal with the defenses last year good enough, right, they were in an uncomfortable position. So that's the main guy, I think, because they're basically remembering Tyreek Hill. Right, and they're hoping to get that back, right? So we'll have to wait and see how it goes.
And from the perspective of losing the first game from Lamar Jackson, you can see the disappointment, obviously, with what would have happened in terms of Lively when they thought that they were going to go into extra time, or they could have. No, actually, they were going to try to win the game. Actually, to be honest, because he was going to try to go for the 2 points, try to win the game.
So it's interesting. Kelsey didn't have a great game, but the Ravens, their main damage came from their tight end, right? The guy whose toe was on the line there, Isaiah Likely, right? They played reasonably well, but I think ironically, if it was any other team that they lost to, it would have been fine. Week 1, shake your rust off. It is what it is, right? But because it was the Chiefs, you would have thought that they might have put a lot more effort into preparing this game, which of course, the thing is, you have weeks and weeks and weeks knowing you have Derrick Henry. You have weeks and weeks and weeks of knowing who your opponent is, right? Now, maybe because Zay Flowers didn't do much, Bateman didn't do much, Hill didn't do much, Aguilar didn't do much, right? Maybe it was that they tried something new with focusing on the tight end, right, to try and get things going, to try to deal with the style of defense. So it's not to say that they didn't play well, but unfortunately, psychologically, the Chiefs have one up on them, right? Because we're long past the point in time when, well, you beat me, so I will come up with countermeasures and I'll beat you the next time and we'll trade. They don't trade. The Chiefs win and the Ravens just look like they don't know what they're doing when they play the Chiefs. So at the very least, it's an improvement to last year, but I think on some level, it's not enough for those players. I would think maybe their coach is going to try to get the positives out of them so they don't.
No, but I mean, I disagree with you only from the point of view that if the best team beat you, it's okay, rather than lose the.
Yeah, but you gotta understand, like, it isn't like they didn't know what the Chiefs were going to do.
Sure.
Right? And it wasn't like we are the same exact Ravens team as last year. We made changes. We got Derrick Henry.
So we'll take a change. We'll take some time to adapt to that change. And that could be a thing.
It's true, and that's what I said. It's unfortunate that they had to play the Chiefs week
No.
one.
Well, I don't know.
Right?
I agree and disagree only from the point of view that that's the toughest game and you ran them right down to the end.
I know, but
So it should give you some happiness.
Yes, but you see, as much as we might have rust, they might have rust. If we were to play in week 15, we could get a similar result.
I know.
I think at the end of the day, the fact that they lost to the Chiefs again, the last game they lost that ended their season was against the Chiefs. That kind of wears out at you.
Takes us straight to the 3 o'clock news. We'll be back. This is the NFL recap with Sean Michael Small and myself. We'll be back. Welcome back. This is WESN Content Capital Face of Sports. Sean Michael Small is here with me, and we have the NFL recap going on right now. Next up is I know what it is. I'm just taking my time.
They're telling him the game in his air, but he's
Miami Dolphins.
He's at a loss for words.
Playing against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Let's go.
5 in the secondary. Tungo Vailoa with blockers ahead. And a big run right here by H.M. Breaking tackles. Downfield he goes. Knocked out by Ronald Darby. It's Mostert in the backfield in the 3rd, 8 for Tua. Going deep and working on Jarian Jones. It's incomplete. In motion comes Ingram, the tight end. ETN the back. Lawrence, here comes Campbell. Campbell comes through.
Not a successful area for them.
3rd and 2 out of the backfield. It's Hill. Oh, he got by 1. Slipping by Johnson, pushed out of bounds on the fly. ETN, nice block, kicking out. Stiff arm getting away from Ramsey. Up the sideline he goes. Brian Thomas, 2nd down and 2. Washington on the move. Fake to Bigsby. Blocking there by Sheriff. Up the middle it goes and caught by Gabe Davis. The former Buffalo Bill squirming his way. 2nd down and 7. Snap by Morris. With the pump fake, he'll drive downfield. Ingram offering a block. And he has hit it about the 41-yard line, but gets a Jacksonville 1st down. Robinson the block, going deep, and he's got it at the goal line. Flag thrown. Incomplete for Thomas. Coverage on the play by Jalen Ramsey.
Well, that ball was a little underthrown, but Thomas had a step or two on Jalen Ramsey.
Pass interference. Defense number 5. The ball replaced at the 1-yard line. The spot of the foul, automatic. 1st down.
Nearly getting the touchdown, but setting up 1st and goal.
1st and goal. ETN torpedoes in. Touchdown, Jacksonville. Leading the way, Robinson. But he's in back of Lamar Jackson, who's watched 30 over the last 2 years. 3rd and 14. On the move right here is Hill. They get him from behind. Dolphins. ETN the back. 2nd down and 6. Lawrence 1 of 2 through the air. Robinson the block at the left tackle. They go underneath, and it's caught by the rookie Brian Thomas. Drilled near the 1st down. Robinson a block at the left tackle, and downfield they go. Knocked away. Beautiful defensive play by Fuller. And Lawrence. HN on the move. 3rd down 3. HN the call. Little block in there thrown by the tight end Julian Hill. And he's short. 4th and 3. Out of the backfield, Achane. Blocked, knocked away. Aluakin.
A good start by the Jacksonville Jaguars, but was it going to be good enough? Shawn Michaels Small, a good start?
One of the things I found puzzling was the fact that Trevor Lawrence basically got no respect this offseason. He apparently has been overtaken in the minds of analysts by C.J. Stroud and Anthony Richardson, who are both in his decision.
His third year.
No, might be his 4th year.
4th year.
Yeah.
First year, he didn't have a good coach.
And I believe he would have had 2 years by now. I could double check that.
Double check that. Go ahead.
But my point is, he's a former number 1 overall pick, and the thing is, I would never say that he played bad, right? Granted, yes, Richardson looked good when he was healthy. C.J. Stroud looked really good, but can he sustain that for more than one season?
4th year. This is his 4th year.
Right.
Yeah.
I didn't even reach to check, right?
I did my recalculations.
So I didn't necessarily understand that. Now, in this game, I think the problem is he looks good, but maybe not looking great. Now, to what extent is that Miami, and to what extent is that him? Because when he had Urban Meyer as his head coach for his first year, and that situation just, I mean, for a head coach to be fired in that way, to have those kind of things said about him coming out of the locker room, the organization, after that year of football, that just tells you something really, really bad and abnormal was going on. But the thing about it is, what always would impress me with Trevor Lawrence, and why I would probably never give up on him until the end as a quarterback and his development, is how he was able to still play relatively well with all of that going on. And there were questions about his commitment to the game of football, given how his answers in draft interviews when they were drafting him. But at the end of the day, the talent is there. And actually, what I've seen, I don't think there's a problem necessarily with dedication. Now, maybe is he a Peyton Manning type worker? I'm not too sure about that. But at the end of the day, not everybody's going to come out from their first year and be a Peyton Manning type worker except Peyton Manning, right? So you can't necessarily judge quarterbacks on that. Now, the thing is, this was expected to be an uphill battle, because while Lawrence has been, I think, neglected and overshadowed and now overlooked, Tua has not. He is still in the conversation as one of the best quarterbacks, and Miami being one of the best teams. But the problem is, Miami, they're in the mix, but there's a sense, I think, people, they want to include them, but they don't necessarily want to say that they are the head of the pack, right? And there are a lot of teams in that middle space between a Kansas City, maybe a 49ers, maybe a Ravens, and between the obvious people who are challenging for the championship and the people who are not. And in that middle, right, there's a big mix of teams where it's going to be very hard to know who's going to come out of that. So Miami finds themselves there. Yes, they have Tyreek Hill. And then what made things even more complicated with this game was the fact that Tyreek Hill had an incident with Miami-Dade police on his way to the stadium, which then involved Calais Campbell, among other teammates. Campbell's one of the defensive tackles, I think, that got the sack there on Lawrence, right, the captain. And that, ironically, we don't know. I mean, luckily for Miami, it did not distract Tyreek Hill, because he himself, while he didn't do anything illegal, arguably he did himself no favors, and the police overreacted to his attitude. He had an attitude, but the police overreacted to it and escalated the situation unnecessarily. And to some degree, it's questionable when they realized or they recognized who it was they were interacting with. Because the thing about it is, it's not as though you need to treat athletes and celebrities differently, but as Tyreek Hill himself said, what would have happened if it wasn't me?
I know, yeah.
Right? So it's actually quite impressive that he was able to play, although I think somebody had to tell him between game day, Sunday gone, and I think yesterday, all right, listen, you really should not have had an attitude with the police and acted arrogant with the police, because while what they did was unwarranted, you could have still gotten a stern talking to. You could have been delayed. You could have gotten a bigger ticket. You know, you could have faced legitimate repercussions for your attitude that did not necessarily go that way. Or you could have get an even worse police officer that might have responded even more extreme. And then what would have happened to you? We would have been lucky that, that it might have just been something to end your season, if not your life, depending on how these things went, right? And ironically, I think Calais Campbell himself said it best. Or either some of the players or some of the analysts who spoke about it. Fortunately, the other Miami Dolphins players came, and even though the police mistreated them, it allowed the situation to kind of been spread out. The aggression, as opposed to focus on one man. Because some people say, well, they dragged them out of the car very violently.
They did.
But he did himself no favors. The police were wrong, right? But he did himself no favors. And the thing about it is, it's not even just the fact that he contributed. Technically, he was the minority contributor, but he contributed to the situation. But take away the police response. If the police actually responded with a degree of professionalism, he will then end up looking 100% publicly bad, and that's a bad look for the Dolphins. So, kudos, because a situation like this could have easily derailed.
I don't know why it happened, because I feel it inspired him. Let's go. That was my problem with this whole matter. But anyway,
you think he had a chip on his shoulder?
Yes, and that's why he fight back.
And so when Calais Campbell pushed through the offensive line, he saw a Miami-Dade police officer, not Trevor Lawrence.
No.
Tyreek Hill was running from the cops, not the Jaguars on the field.
For sure. Let's watch the end of the game. Go ahead, gentlemen.
ETN is in. Bigsby is the back, and he's going to get the call. So the two top running backs, and Bigsby looks to be short.
This early at the beginning of the fourth quarter.
ETN getting a block from Cleveland. Chased. Ogba couldn't get him. Chased here by Phillips. He's blocked. Here he comes the other way. Looking for daylight. They make the stop. Kendall Fuller. Sealer and others got ETN on downs. Tungo Vailoa 18-30. 80-yard touchdown pass to Hill. Here he goes out of the backfield. Mostert. Track star in the Big Ten. Brought down. Who else? Oluwakin. No, he missed it. He missed it wide left, and it wasn't even close. ETN joins the quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, 12 of 20. The blitz is on. The throw is there. Incomplete. Christian Kirk could not haul it in. With a little bit of results from the 34, second down and 10. Tungo Vailoa, deep, caught, 45-yard line, grabbed by Hill.
Tense it away from the wide receivers, but as you said, one catch for 7 yards today.
Second down, 3. Look at the run here by Jeff Wilson. Offset eye with Ingold and Wilson. Third down and 1. Ingold. Hammers it through. Bulldozing his way to the 15 with the first down. Third and 14. Tungo Vailoa. Look at the time. Here comes Hines Allen. There goes Tua. And throws it away to tie it. No wind, 92 degrees, and we are tied at 17. And signed a week before training camp. Third and 14. Look out! Another sack. Jalen Phillips this time. Third Miami sack. 2-minute warning, 2 timeouts, Miami, 3 for the Jaguars. Second down, 6. Tungo Vailoa laces one upfield. It's Waddle once again. He's had a big day. HN in motion, Mostert in the backfield. HN's got the ball. Gets a nice block from Hill. And now he has just about hit that target range. He has the 39 of Jacksonville and a pickup of 10. Tungo Vailoa, Ingold, he's got the first down. Submarines his way to the 37. A 52-yard field goal try to break a tie. And the kick is up, and it's going to be good from 52. Miami zeros on the clock, has won. on a game-winning 52-yard field goal.
Yeah, tough game. But
Close.
in the end, Miami won, unfortunately for me.
Very, very close. Now, one silver lining, Jaguars first round pick, wide receiver Brian Thomas Jr. I think that's a good look. He's a 6'3" guy, first round wide receiver, decent speed, obviously not like the Kansas City guy, right? Good size though. And he made a good account for himself, 4 catches for 47 yards and a touchdown,
Not bad.
right? But I think the biggest difference in this is when you look at the team stats and the quarterback stats. Trevor Lawrence passing, 12 completions, 21 attempts, just about 50%, only 162 yards. Tua, 23 for 37, a little bit higher than 50%,
Yeah.
338 yards.
Yeah, the difference. Yeah.
Right? That's the difference, the level of production. Also, they had a similar number of first downs. Again, the game was close, right? First downs, but third down efficiency. Dolphins, 8 conversions out of 16 attempts. Jaguars, 2 out of 10.
Wow, that's bad.
Only 2 third down conversions. So they got the third down, and 8 times out of 10, they got taken off the field. Time of possession was in the Dolphins' favor, but I think it's the execution. The Jaguars had the better running game, and one could argue it's not a high-scoring game, and it's a close game. So the running game could have been leveraged, right, to help you win the game, keep Tua off the field. But Tua, apparently, 300 yards, that one could argue in this NFL, well, in past, that might be an average number. Now that might be a bit on the high side. Jaguars defense did okay. They got 3 sacks from their top defensive ends, but you know, it's a close game. So now the thing is, and I think I have seen analysis that said, you know, Trevor Lawrence didn't necessarily play bad in this game, right? So now it depends on what their game plan was. Why did he have so few attempts? Because he had
we're
just
slowly
over
doing
half
the
the
next
attempts.
game against Cleveland. That's the next game is against Cleveland.
I actually expect them to win, depending on how Deshaun Watson looks, but we'll get to that when we get to the Cleveland game.
Yeah. All right, let's go. Game number 3 here on a Saturday, Sad Tuesday.
I wonder what game this is.
Oh, I can't but imagine.
6 minutes to go in this opening quarter. Pressure coming. Brissett gets rid of it. Reads it well to the veteran Hooper, dishing out some punishment on Geno Stone.
They'll continue to come after him until the pressure is really relieved.
Shotgun. Brissett on 3rd and 8. Unloads it. Complete. 2nd and 15 now after the penalty. Shotgun. Brissett rifles it and hits his man.
And here comes Henry. Hunter Henry, number 85, in motion. Their tight end. They like to find him in these situations.
Brissett out of the pocket. Has room. Brissett still going. Brissett cuts it to the outside. He's got a first down. 13th play of the drive. 2nd and goal for New England. Brissett hooks a pass. It's caught inside the 5 by Osborne. 3rd and goal for the Patriots. First play of the 2nd quarter. Running play. It's Stevenson. Touchdown. Patriots strike first on a long, successful drive.
And how about this rookie, Layden Robinson from Texas A&M? Just manhandles his guy at the line of scrimmage at the point of attack. And a good read by Ramondre Stevenson to see that that's where the gap was. Fires his way through it.
We'll sort it here.
Zach Moss in the backfield, chased the motion man. Burrow dropped at the 32-yard line.
So Hendrickson, 91. He's going to try and get to him.
5 in the secondary for Cincinnati. Brissett's pass was too high for the 5'11" KJ Osborne. Burrow directing Moss to get closer to the line. Bengals trying to convert. Burrow pats the ball, throws. Nicely done on the sideline. It is Yosifat. 47-0 lead for the Patriots. Fake the handoff. Rush is coming. Dump off for Moss. He's got room. Moss has a first down, weaving through traffic. Crowd the line. Burrow. Catch and curl by Chase for a first down.
And the leg drive to get the first down. Do they want to go there again and try and have him take on the corner?
Motion man Hudson. The throw caught. Hudson lost the ball. Looked like a touchdown. Instead, it's a turnover. And they continue to get it done here in the season opener. Handoff, Stevenson trying to break away. Stevenson's got a first down.
Coordinator of the Cincinnati Bengals keeps saying, the defense of New England, it's in their DNA. They always play good defense.
And they run the football with Stevenson chewing up yards into Cincinnati territory. And everybody's got strong opinions, and then you have to actually go play the game. Fake it. Brissett powers it downfield and hooks up with Thornton for a first down. Brissett gets out of the pocket. Oh, takes a big hit from Hill at the end of the play. 32-yard kick for Sly. He's got it.
So on a great start for New England Patriots. Tell us a little bit, about this new quarterback. When I say new, he's 31 years old, but new in terms of new to the team as far as starting anyway.
So if my memory serves correct, I think it was the 2014 season. Brady had the Deflategate situation, so he had a 4-game suspension. They started, it was either the 2014 or 2016 season. They started with Jimmy Garoppolo, who won them, I think, the first 2 games or 3 games. Brissett was the number 3.
Right, number 3.
And Brissett was being mentored a bit by Bill Parcells, Hall of Fame coach, who was actually the head coach of the Giants when Belichick was the defensive coordinator with Lawrence Taylor. And Parcells, it's his coaching tree that Sean Payton and Bill Belichick and Nick Saban from Alabama past are all kind of tied to, right? So there was some high hopes for Brissett. He did look good. There was a point where it's like, you have Tom Brady, but then you have 2 backups that legit are prospects. This was back when you didn't have all of these college quarterbacks, all of these young quarterbacks now like Allen and the guy from the Cardinals who I don't always like, and Burrows and Herbert in LA and so on and so on. Brissett looked like a good prospect. Unfortunately, his career after leaving New England, because he wanted to start, and this was years ago. Brady was I think maybe 5 to 6 years removed from leaving New England, so he's not gonna wait, right, on the hope to start. But he has an opportunity now. I think it's because the head coach at the end of the day knows him well. There's a certain amount of trust, there's a certain amount of comfort, there's a certain amount of trust, not just in his skills, but his professionalism to handle the situation, because the plan was to draft a quarterback. And one of the things in this situation is there's going to be a controversy. Do we play the rookie now? Other teams play their rookie. Why aren't we playing the rookie? Bears are playing their guy. Trevor Lawrence played year 1. Joe Burrow played year 1. Our guy, it's not as though it's... And we played our number 15 pick, right? Mac Jones way back when.
Yes.
This is number 3. We have never seen a pick this high in New England before, right? And the unfortunate part is, if he's not playing, then we have this high pick that ain't contributing on the field, and it puts the team in an odd spot. But I think at the end of the day, this was the plan. They wanted stability at the position because they already tried to take the young guy and put him out on the field, and look what happened to Mac Jones. Because the problem is Brissett is playing with a supporting cast of guys who need to develop or who are second tier. Right? There's no other way to put it. Now, there are some wide receivers who was drafted last year and this year, and there's hope that they'll develop. Tyquan Thornton, I think, was from 2 years ago. He has good speed. He had some good catches. They got rid of some of the veterans, I guess, who at the end of the day is like, you're not better than our young guys.
So are you more happy now after, in terms of at this stage of the game? What were you thinking?
Ironically, it's kind of similar to, in a way, to the Ravens and their loss. The loss isn't the problem, it's the loss to the Chiefs. The win is not going to make me happy. The win will make me happy, but the bigger picture is not really the win. It's the fact that the team has a lot of work to do, right? And then you have to also the fact that, well, we're going to the end. But this game, they were playing the Bengals well, but maybe you could argue that it wasn't necessarily well enough because the Bengals have been slow starters for the last 3 years. Right? And they weren't really pulling away. So then, to some extent, you're kind of waiting for the other shoe to drop because that's what New England football fans have been experiencing the last 2 years. When will the other shoe drop?
All right, well, let's go to that right now.
It's a handoff to Zach Moss. Takes it in. Touchdown, Cincinnati. Celebration here in the Queen City. 9 plays, 90 yards, capped off by Zach Moss's first touchdown as a Bengal.
First time this game you felt like Cincinnati had control of the line of scrimmage.
Agreed. Shotgun, Brissett, guns it, lunging attempt, and Hooper makes the play. First down, Patriots.
But here's where Cincinnati, you got to get them out of field goal position.
3rd and 4, Brissett, a cannon to Henry. Brissett dials it up. Completion to Osborne, but short. He's made kicks of 32 yards, 35 yards. The 37-yarder is good. Extending his pre-practice routine for his wrist. Burrow. Open man, Jamar Chase into New England territory. That's a big play that the Bengals have been looking for. Burrow is 20 of 26, 159 yards. Burrow steps up, and Burrow is crushed at the 34 by Keon White. They need the points badly. 51-yarder, McPherson. He knocks it through. 1994, handoff to Stevenson. Sidesteps a tackler, and he's got a first down. Shotgun for Brissett. Brissett tosses, handled, Douglas, and he's tackled immediately after the catch. And they will not snap it. So time runs out.
Offense, 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
And look at this clock. 3:14 left.
Dime package here for New England. This is a 3rd and 10 for Cincinnati. Burrow. Soft toss. Handled by Moss. Spun down after a gain of 5. Big day for Stevenson. 111 yards on the ground with a touchdown. Stevenson still going. First down. Ramondre Stevenson.
You remember Ramondre Stevenson told us he's learning outside zone in terms of how to run the football? I think he's picking it up pretty quickly.
Not the case.
Just completed the Olympics. Cincinnati came in here wanting this to be sprint races. Didn't get it.
A new era in New England starts with an upset win. Gerard Mayo in his head coaching debut gets the victory in Cincinnati.
So Mayo, not Mayo,
yes.
has got his first victory.
Because the owner's Kraft.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's a song so good. The owner is Kraft, and his name is Mayo.
It's Mayo. It's legit Mayo. You just hear the broadcast guys.
Mayo Kraft. Wow. And he wins.
He won, but
and he's African. Makes it all adds up so much to this Patriot team. Go ahead.
The thing is, he was always considered a coach on the field. He was middle linebacker. He was the defensive play caller when he played. First round pick, very successful. I think he may have been part of the first Super Bowl win on the second series, or maybe he retired before. I can't remember. He was the glue that kind of helped hold the team together in the lean years when championships weren't.
So because of time, we have 2 more games to go to. From this game, we heard what you said about the Patriots. Okay. What do you say about the Bengals?
Well, here's the thing. There are 2 fumbles given up by the Bengals. Yeah. You're not going to bank if you're Patriots for 2 fumbles. For the Bengals, you in theory should be able to clean that up. Fumbles are one of those turnovers where at times they could be fluky, right? You could clean that up. To what extent is that a sign that you're a bad team? The thing with the Bengals, though, is I think it's more not that we lost to the Patriots, but it's like, why are we starting slow again? right? And what is this going to cost us in terms of momentum as well as in terms of development? Because it kind of goes back to what Kobe Bryant said. He works out 3 times a day, right? He's thinking, I'm going to be ahead of these guys that only go to team practices and works out once a day. They'll never catch up to me. So yes, technically speaking, you can potentially catch up. But Kansas City isn't taking days off. They want a three-peat. Ravens are trying to chase them. Josh Allen and the Bills are trying to chase them. So for the Bengals now, and the Ravens are in the division, right? And the Ravens are to the Bengals what the Kansas City is to the Ravens. The Bengals actually have a good record against the Chiefs. But I don't matter if you never meet the Chiefs, and if you're going to come second in your division after hope for a wild card spot, right? The Ravens are gonna gatekeep you to the Super Bowl for the next 5 years, and you can't afford to lose games.
They should win.
Cheap
All right.
losses that you should win early because you're just
All
putting
right.
pressure towards
Let's
them.
quickly go on to our next game. Game number 4 here on the NFL.
First and long, Prescott to throw. Pressure, he is decked. Dalvin Tomlinson flying through the middle and a sack to start for Cleveland.
Got to spread the ball around, keep the play calls creative. And Dak's got to get the ball out of his hands before Garrett's pass rush can get there.
On 3rd and 19, they're just going to run Elliott, who's got a decent seam, but nowhere near a first down. Jalen Darden just called up from the practice squad. Your former teammate back to receive. Short kick. Darden has room. A lot of it. Up to the 45. Into Dallas territory. What a start for the Browns.
Get some clean pockets, let the ball come out of his hand, get it to his playmaker.
Here's where you said a quick throw, and he gets it there on time for a first down. It's the former Cowboy Amari Cooper playing against Dallas for the first time since the trade, and that should be enough for a first down. Watson, pressure. He can run. Breaks one tackle, turns it upfield, and he's going to be tackled short of a first down. Hopkins drills it. It is good. And so the Browns, after a defensive stop and a nice punt return, set up and grab a field goal. Make it 3-zip early. Back to 1st and 10 after the couple of penalties. Here's Lamb on a jet sweep. Lamb gets a couple blocks. CeeDee Lamb and lunging forward for what should be a first down. We'll see where they mark it down. He's right there.
And that's when he's able to drive on those throws. And good pass defense by Thornhill. They really like him. Very athletic player.
Prescott going deep. Far side of the field looking for Lamb. Oh, what a catch! Wow. CeeDee Lamb inbounds and a completion and a biggie right over Denzel Ward. 3rd and 5. Pressure right in Prescott's face. Letting it go. He's got it there for the touchdown. It's caught by Brandon Cooks. Yeah, working on that left side. Blocked up, dumping underneath 4. He's got a way to go. Head down. He's not going to get there. Stacked up. 3rd and 3 here. They're going to give on the ground to Elliott. Big hole, and he's got a first down. Up to the 25 is Elliott.
Man-to-man coverage.
Prescott thrives against that and does here. In stride, Lamb upended, but he's got a first down.
That was a little bit lucky there for Dak. But that wasn't a pick going the other way.
3rd and 5. They roll him out and misfires. He had Brandon Cooks out there. Could not connect. And the Browns will get it back.
Might get a chip here.
He likes that side today. Pressure again. Watson steps up. Here comes Parsons, and he gets home. He didn't get a chip.
Wow. Got a chip and beat it.
All right. Watson against Prescott. Your thoughts after what we've just seen?
2 quarterbacks that have been disappointing. One got the fresh contract, big contract.
Massive contract.
Apparently with a no-trade clause, $240 million contract.
240 for 4
4-year deal, so that's 60. So but I think he's the first quarterback to bust the $60 million mark. And I believe right now there's expectations that the salary cap is going to keep growing. So because the TV revenue is going to keep growing, right? So they'll grow the cap so that there's a certain percentage of the revenue has to be part of the salary cap, right? They can't just make money and then say, well, the cap remains so that we could save money and be cheap with the players. That's one of the things that the NFLPA negotiated for their members. So the hope is, of course, it might seem overly big now, but maybe in 2 years it might not be that bad. Of course, you're never going to tell if the economy tanks, then the revenue won't grow, and then it won't grow and you're stuck with this contract. The thing is, with the Browns and Deshaun Watson, I think right now the consensus is probably one of the worst trades, one of the worst deals of all time, one of the worst contracts of all time.
For Cleveland,
for Cleveland.
Not for Watson.
I think it's also a negative for Watson.
Okay.
Because it hurt his career, right? With regards to the Cowboys, this was more of a case where we didn't have a lot of options. Because it's one thing to say that Dak Prescott has his limitations. His critics in NFL analyst media are basically saying, yeah, you got 12 wins for the last 2 to 3 seasons. How many playoff wins has Dak Prescott gotten, right? I think it's like 2 in the last however many years. That's not good enough. But who are you going to get to replace him? That's the dilemma that the Cowboys have. Because you're not picking like where the Patriots and the Bears and where the Panthers and the Texans and the Colts were picking when they got their guys, right? Even the Chiefs, they were kind of a playoff team, right? They were a little bit outside looking in. They traded up, I believe, to get Mahomes with a mid-first round pick because he kind of slid a little bit to help them out. So who are the Cowboys going to get? Because they might want to get Deion Sanders' son, but you're going to need a top 5 pick minimal. And then you might have to sell out like what the Panthers did. I think Shedeur Sanders will be better than Bryce Young. Bryce Young, I think that might be an example of when you get such a bad fit, it could just totally end the career.
But staying with the Prescott because of time. Did you foresee this game going any different as we go into the last part when they're at this score?
I think it really came down to the other quarterback and how well would he play, because he looked shaky. And then Joe Flacco comes in and kind of looks good. We go on to the playoffs, right? We have a Cinderella story. But Deshaun Watson looks shaky.
All right.
Right? And it comes back to what Tom Brady says, and I think this is true. These college quarterbacks, if you try to make them comfortable too much and they don't develop the skills to play more pro style, the limitations will stay with them. And this is the result.
All right. Tom Brady, we have to respect it. Let's watch the end of this match.
Four-man rush. It's blocked up. Watson still can't find anybody. Now he's in trouble, gets hit as he throws, and it's incomplete, and the Cowboys will take over.
Here we go.
Prescott on the fake. Gets it out to Lipke, the fullback, room to roll. And the big guy is inside the 30. Has a first down to the 26.
He can impact the game with the big screen.
Coming at him there on a 3rd and long, and that play is upended and dropped. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah all over Ezekiel Elliott. It'll bring up a 4th down. Here's Aubrey from 46 yards out, and that is up and good. He's had a great day.
Wow.
4 for 4, including a 57-yarder. Cowboys add on, make it a 23-point lead. But it's really fun how he's going to use similar personnel differently. And 2nd down here for Watson. There's Strong, makes the catch. He's got another first down. And he's up near the 37.
He forces you to hold the ball and wait for it to get open, and that's not where you want to be as a starting quarterback.
Here is Watson over the middle. Good throw that time, and a completion to Akins. Backup tight end who holds it in for a first down. Watson, far side, and that is intercepted. Trayvon Diggs has his first since the ACL surgery. Quick throw over the middle, incomplete. Try to get it to Lamb.
Tight end.
Watson didn't see him. Chased away, running, is going to get to the first down for Clark, brings him down.
be the dominant player he was in Houston. That's why they traded for him, but they're going to need some other parts to come together to give him some help.
Yeah, here's Watson. That was Chubb we showed you on the screen, by the way. Akins makes the catch. Going to be short. It'll be a 4th down and about 2.
Hey, this is going to be a great opportunity for our pass rush today, and that's been the story of the game, obviously, playing defensive so well as they have defensively. Another 4th and long.
Watson looking around. Going to take off and run. Going to get the first down. Going to stay on his feet. And down to the 6. It's 1st and goal. Cover it all for you. And Ford is going to get in for the touchdown. And Cleveland will punch one more home with 29 seconds to go as Jerome Ford has his first of the year.
It's been a great journey, and great that NFL season's underway. Great for the fans. Great for everyone who loves football.
And certainly if you're a Cowboys fan, an arousing Week 1 performance. 31-17 in a win here in Cleveland.
All right, the Cowboys.
Passing-wise, both teams kind of were a little bit underwhelming. Cowboys scored more points. The biggest difference, Deshaun Watson threw 2 interceptions. Now, the game before, fumbles. They're kind of fluky sometimes, right? the team that gets them can't bank on them. The team that things them. You could coach your players to be more secure with the ball. Interceptions, though, that's either a forced error or a bad error, not an oopsie. A fumble could be an oopsie. An interception is a bad error, right? Unless it was some kind of fancy deflection or whatever, right? More often than not, that stat indicates something went wrong with your passing game. They gave up 6 sacks. Deshaun Watson was sacked 6 times with 2 interceptions. So there's questions potentially either with regards to is he holding on the ball too long or their protection. And he himself is not superstar enough to overcome those kind of things. That's why I think he has the 2 interceptions. That's the start of this game that stands out to me that made a significant difference because, you know, it's not as though the Cowboys dominated with 100 more yards of offense or 100 more yards of rushing or the time of possession. No, stats-wise, it was a little bit closer than it looked. But 2 interceptions, some short fields maybe, and well, it was really 33-10. That last touchdown, that's garbage time. That'll count, right? That really mean anything.
You, but the man who scored, you go remember.
Yeah, the man who scored, well, remember that he scored a touchdown in garbage time, right?
No, I don't think you remember garbage time, but you know he scored a touchdown.
Yeah.
Don't be against the man.
Yeah.
All right, we're just going to go for the next game, though we're going to watch the last 3 minutes. Because of time, for the next game, we're just going to go straight to the last 3 minutes.
Last clip.
Yeah, the last script. Basically, the last script. All right, let's go.
McCaffrey, here's Hall, and a nice carry out near midfield. Rookie. This is snap number 65. Remarkable. Good protection. Pass is caught. Jennings to the 5.
Or a 2 possession game, even with the field goal here.
23 yards and a nice night for Moody.
You know, I'm not surprised he's played every snap. When I visited with him on Saturday, you felt like that's what he was going to do.
Here's Lazard. Yards and a touchdown. Hall makes Campbell miss, and Breece Hall won't get it.
One-on-one on the edges with these receivers.
Jets spread him out. And is broken up. Play is made by Isaac Yedem. Made that play knocking it away from Garrett Wilson. Here's Mason down the sideline. And what a good start to this drive for the 49ers.
An exceptional win against what everyone believes is going to be a quality opponent in the Cleveland Browns.
Purdy in trouble, gets to the ground.
Those are huge games to start their years.
42-yard try for Moody. What a night. Getting it done finally, and this is a good first step without their big weapon on offense in McCaffrey. Here's Hall. And a nice carry out near midfield. Rookie Braylon Allen is in the game. He's just 20 years old. He is a big back. And he touches the ball here on a little screen. The rookie from Wisconsin, but not enough sustained success. And the defense couldn't make any stops when they had to. Here is Taylor down inside the 5.
And the 49ers dominated the trenches.
Bosa's still out there trying to get a sack. Here is one for a touchdown to Lazard, his second of the night. 34-year-old quarterback in his 13th year. He's bounced around, but as Aaron Rodgers told us, he can still play, and he showed it on that possession.
Yeah, he did. He did some good things. You got Lazard, soft corner, and put it on him. And
could be another 2-point try, and 25 seconds left in the ball game. Taylor floats it out of the back of the end zone. Gibson, the target. But an impressive start here tonight. And he may now have a 1-2 punch at running back when McCaffrey gets healthy with McCaffrey and Mason. What an impressive night. There's McCaffrey. Couldn't go tonight. 49ers in the end didn't need him.
Is the takeaway as we watch a victory for San Francisco 49ers, is the takeaway from this Rodgers' age and Rodgers' performance?
To be fair, San Fran dominated time of possession, 38 minutes 40 seconds versus 21 minutes 20 seconds. I think the big part of that, the standout performance, Jordan Mason, the backup running back, 147 yards on 28 carries, 5.2 yards a carry. That is above average. If you get 5 yards a carry for a running back on average, you are in a very good place with your running game. How you deal with an opposing quarterback? Well, you run the ball. It kind of limits his possessions, you don't want it to be a shootout against somebody like Aaron Rodgers, although he hasn't necessarily proved he could do that with the Jets. He's 40 years of age. This, I don't think, cements, I'm getting too old, I can't play the game. He can still play, right? If he's going to be good or great or elite, we still don't know. The book is still out on his, but at least we know that, okay, he recovered from his Achilles injury. He seems to be healthy. Could he maintain that health? We have to see. But I think for the 49ers, this is a very good sign because you get somebody else to help carry the load so you could potentially, if you manage it properly, keep Christian McCaffrey's health up longer. So when you really need his skill set, he's the guy. I think right now, running back-wise, he is looked at as the guy. Number one, there is nobody else better than him. It's just that if he's doing everything, injury concerns, it's just a matter of time. So having Mason now able to carry the load, right, gives you the 1-2 punch so it could help keep his legs fresh because when you really want your running back, is in playoffs.
All right, so let's have a look at the results of the other games that we were not able to bring you because of time. So we'll look at the first sheet, look at some of the results quickly. As we look at the sheets, we talk about the games, of course, that we did not bring for most of you here. We had the Eagles and the Packers that played in Brazil, Sean.
One of the things is because of the travel, it kind of makes games like that, the international games, the results, it's hard to say that this is definite. And I believe Jordan Love, again, was injured, right? Yeah. So it was a close game. There's a lot of hope for the Packers. I think the Eagles as well, they need to prove themselves now. Jalen Hurts needs to prove himself. I don't know if I would take a long travel game like all the way to Brazil as like this is a definitive read. And it's week 1, right? But still, you're happy for the win because you have that on your record to help you with the tiebreakers moving forward.
Steelers and Falcons.
It's a bit disappointing because we didn't get to see Russell Wilson play, right? So the Steelers, they still won. I think it's a testament to Mike Tomlin that he could keep his team in a winning position despite all of their issues with the quarterback position. I think the Falcons was also very disappointing, particularly with their quarterback. The free agent who I always, Kirk Cousins. Yeah. I think it was kind of disappointing for him to have this outing because the offensive talent on the team, maybe it's not like all-world offensive talent, but it's great offensive talent, actually. Some high first-round draft picks there. but I guess maybe it's also the curse of, well, we're still integrating and getting to know each other. Having to face the Steelers defense in week 1 is probably not the best way to go about things. You might want some easier practice sessions before.
Bills Cardinals closer than they thought?
Actually, yes, I did not expect the Cardinals to do well because I have very little faith in Kyler Murray. But I had to admit, watching parts of that game, he looked better than I expected, right? The Bills, of course, they have to deal with some free agency losses, I believe. Josh Allen has a lot to prove. But then again, you know, if it's any time when he looks good, it's early in the season.
The Titans against the Bears. The Bears, highly rated team.
Yeah, but they didn't look good for most of this game. For the first part of this game. They didn't look...
Young quarterback?
Yes.
Won first game.
I actually was surprised that they pulled it out in the end because it was not trending in a victory. The flip side is the Titans don't really have anything going for them either. So again, is this victory valuable? I wouldn't say so.
Texans and the Colts closer than they thought, 29-27 or not?
Well, both of them have young quarterbacks that were playing well. Richardson got hurt. C.J. Stroud has more experience, so one could argue he has a leg up. I think that it's not necessarily unexpected. 29-27, it's not a high score, it's not a low score. It's a competitive match. But this is an important win because it was a divisional game, and C.J. Stroud is basically playing against one of his direct competition. You could argue maybe Trevor Lawrence should get more respect, but Anthony Richardson came from the same draft, right? So they're going to get more direct comparisons, and they're going to be tied together storyline-wise more than any other quarterback out of the same draft. RG3 was in Washington when Andrew Luck was in Indianapolis. So they're in the same division, from the same draft, from the same round, and it's a divisional win. This was a very important victory for the Texans.
All right, let's go to the second page. At the first page, we had a look at, and let's look at the next page, and we're quickly going to go to the Saints and the Panthers.
Yeah, Panthers are basically, they are, I believe, definitively the worst team in football. Maybe the Giants are going to give them a run for the money. But there's no hope for the Panthers right now, and I think it's a shame. I don't know if Bryce Young could have been successful in a different system, on a different team, but too much was spent to get him, and that was part of the problem. He himself is too small, I think.
So we're going to quickly, because of time, pick some of the games that we wanted to have a look at. Broncos, Seahawks.
Middling teams. Broncos has their rookie, and he didn't look that great from what I saw. Seahawks, Pete Carroll is no longer the head coach. I think they are going through a transition right now. I don't have high expectations for them.
In the second to last game, Buccaneers Commanders.
Baker Mayfield.
Baker Mayfield.
I mean, Commanders, it's a decent win, 17-point win. He's trying to prove himself all over again. And you know what? I like the attitude.
Lions, Rams.
This was an interesting match because these two teams, these two orgs, because they traded off their first-round quarterbacks, are going to be tied to each other. I think the legacy of Dan Campbell as a former Lions player who is building a team everybody see the right way, very impressive.
Second wrong, any game in particular you're looking forward to this weekend? Any game stand out quickly as we go? Second in this weekend?
Coming week, honestly, the fan in me comes out. I want to see what the Patriots will do against the Seahawks, just because I want to see how they would play. Not if they would win. If they win, it's how they would win. If they lose, it's how they would lose. For their development, right?
All right, let's see what happens. Certainly, Jacksonville Jaguars play Cleveland Browns. Keep you in touch.
That should be a win.
We will see.
That should be a win.
With much thanks to Neil.
Just need to block Myles Garrett.
All right, much thanks. You say that I block a lot of things. Much thanks to Neil, much thanks to Rodney, much thanks to Josh, much thanks to Keaton, and of course, Sean Michael Small here with me. Rand Gomez, book it back. Mile is here sometimes. Josh is also there at times as well, as he is today. As we go, thank you very much. Goodbye.